I cannot go down on a man. If you're the type of woman who says what gets you off is cunnilingus, and he's a man who says, God forbid, I will never go down on any woman. Why would I put my mouth, the mouth that I'm using to praise God, I will use that same mouth and go down on a woman? For what? Because there are just some men who, they don't understand romance. Tell them from the onset, this is what I like in the bedroom. And if they like it, fine, good for you. If they don't like it, carry your two left leg and run away. They don't understand what it means to spend time for foreplay. Why spend all that time when the natural thing is to... Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jane Lawrence and I come with a lot of juicy content. On today's episode, we're going to talk about something really important, and that's sexual incompatibility. You know, we really do not pay attention when it comes to our partners, especially in courtship. You know, courtship is a time where you get to listen, you get to communicate, you get to tell them who you really are. Because whether you like it or not, you've lived a life differently from the person that you're with, or that the person that you found interesting to share a moment of your life with. So it's imperative that you let them know what you like and what you do not like, especially when it comes to the bedroom. And this is where we flounder, all right? We do not listen. We do not talk so much, but we do. Do you understand? We do not talk so much and we do. And when we do and we find that it's not what we really want, we keep quiet about it so that we do not bruise people's ego, or we do not make people go get offended. But the truth is, you have to talk about it in your relationship. You've got to be open about your sexual needs in your relationship. Courtship is a time for you to talk, not necessarily the time for you to do. And it's a time for you to listen intently, so that you figure out what you are capable of accommodating and what you're not capable of accommodating. Because there's some people who have different kinks that you will not in your wildest dream ever want to get into. Know this and know peace, that you have to find your kind and marry your type. Are you getting what I'm saying? Find your kind and marry your type. Because if you do not do that, when you make a move to get into a relationship, or when you make a move to get into marriage with a person who does not align with certain aspects of your life, you're going to find it pretty much difficult to stay on in that relationship, because it's a lifetime. Even though now people see marriage as a walk in the park, or you could just walk into it and walk out if it doesn't favor you. Of course, I would admit to the fact that you can't necessarily know a person through and through. Even you yourself, you don't even know yourself, much more the person who has had a different life for decades coming together just in a moment of falling in love. You definitely can't know this person. But I would assure you that if there are some, let's assume that you find 50% of some of the things that you love about this person, and they align with your goals and morals, maybe 70%, or give or take 60%, because you necessarily can't find someone who aligns with you through and through in that large percentage. But if you find someone who at least has like 60% of some of the things that you desire, and they also align with your morals, your sexual needs, and every other thing, your spiritual needs, your physical need, then it is a good mark to go with. So sexual compatibility can actually be a deal breaker. As a matter of fact, it's a deal breaker, because you know the two important things in marriage, I'm not talking about relationship now, the two most important things in marriage that can either destroy or keep a marriage going is sex and money. You can actually live in a marriage without money if you are with a partner who is content and you will content yourself. When I mean without money, without substantial amount of money that you can flex with, you can go on vacation with, you can buy the things that you need, but you do have money enough to take care of basic needs in the family, like food and maybe thrift clothes and all of that stuff. But you see, sex in marriage, if it is not good, it is one of the huge things that can break that marriage. Because number one, when a man is not getting the amount of satisfaction that he needs in a bedroom, he will go out to source for it. Likewise, a woman too. If she doesn't get the basic amount of satisfaction and nurturing in the bedroom that she needs on a daily, then she will find the need to be resentful. And a resentful woman in a house will set the house on fire. It will not be stable. It will not be peaceful for that man at all. That's why it is so important that you also find out how sexually compatible you are. Money is also a very big part of it, because sometimes sex might just be so annoying when needs are supposed to be met, when bills are supposed to be paid, when there are medical attention to be given, and then there is no money to foot the bills. You can't even touch a woman. A woman whose child is very sick, maybe at the point of death, and you do not have the money necessary to take care of that child's medical bill, and you're having an erection. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that both of them are dependent on each other. Sex is dependent on money, because when you have money enough to take care of the basic needs, you're more at peace, you're more relaxed, you're more out of that worry box. You're more in tune with yourself emotionally than when there is no money at all, and there are stark bills piled up there for you to take care of. And then when there is money, but then the sex is terrible, it can cause frustration for both partners. So if you're with a man who says, listen, I love sex very much, and I always want to have it every day, or maybe 2 times in a day, and just because you think you love this person, and you know deep down you're not capable of satisfying him in that way, you go on into that marriage, you walk down the aisle, or maybe in the courtship, you pretend to want to accommodate that sort of pattern, and you endure it, thinking that, as soon as we get married, he's going to chill, he's going to relax. Listen, anything that you accommodate during your courtship, trust me, it's going to magnify 10 times when you get married. It always does. Marriage is an amplifier of the character or the attitude that you find in courtship. So if there are some red flags that you think that you can accommodate during courtship, or you can just throw a blind eye towards during courtship, when you get married, it's going to magnify. That's why I encourage people to find the flaws that you know that you can accommodate. If he's a smoker, and you know that you cannot tolerate a man who smokes, please call it quits. Because you know what? When he gets married, it might magnify 10 times, or it might decrease in the later years of his life. And there is no guarantee. Same thing goes for sex. If he says that, he likes it 247, and you know that you do not have the strength and capacity to carry on 247 with him, tell him no, that you're not that kind of person. You're not so much of a freak. Again, if you're the type of woman who says what gets you off is cunnilingus, and he's a man who says, God forbid, I will never go down on any woman. Why would I put my mouth, the mouth that I'm using to praise God, I will use that same mouth and go down on a woman? For what? Listen, don't think that he's going to change, or don't think that you're going to endure it. Because if that is the thing that gets you off quicker than any PV interaction or intercourse, you'll be frustrated, because it's a lifelong institution that you're going into with him. That's why it's important that you find your kind, the type of person. Find a man who knows how to go down on a woman. Find a man who likes it, not just go down, but he likes it, and he likes to pleasure his woman through and through. Because there are just some men who They don't understand romance. They don't understand what it means to spend time for foreplay. Why spend all that time when the natural thing is to go, when the natural thing is to go in and go out, release the tension, all right, and touch maybe one or two things, and bam. Some men don't even know that you have to take time enough to make the woman ready for him to come in. Now, maybe because the man has the money or he's financially buoyant, and you see that your financial security is secure with that sort of man. But then again, on the flip side of the coin, he's not really romantic and you think you can teach him. I do understand that there are some people that you can teach, but these are the people who are teachable, who are willing to learn. But half the time, most African men, I'm talking about African men now, most African men are not teachable. When I mean teachable, their ego is so huge that having the woman say, I don't like the way you do this, do it this way, it will bruise his ego, will even make her feel like, oh, you've been sleeping around, or who has been touching you in a certain way. Why? This is how I like it done. They forget that a woman that they've been with in the past is different from the woman that they are with. So what used to pleasure Sister A does not pleasure Madam B. Most men don't have that understanding. So they feel like, if I have applied this technique with girlfriend A, then it should work for my girlfriend B. There is no way that it will not work because all women are the same. But the truth is, all women are not the same. The sensitivity of one woman is different from the sensitivity of the second woman, because one might be highly sensitive, one's body might be highly reactive, the other one might not be highly reactive. It just depends on the body type and probably the activities that they've had in the past before meeting you. So if you're the kind of woman who knows that I like a guy who is pretty much rough with me, then you shouldn't be with a guy who is soft. You should be with a guy who has that same mindset with you. Because if you go with a guy who is soft and does not understand why you need him to be rough or to rough handle you or to do certain things that in his head is kind of debasing, you will never get the best of him. And you'll always go to bed grudgingly. And you probably might not even experience orgasms like you would if you were with a man who is of like mind with you. So talk about this. Talk about this, especially when a man has said, oh, I really like you and I want to get to know you. 2-3 months should be enough time for you to sit down and talk about what you like in the bedroom. You should never be shy as long as you've come of age to understand your sexual needs. You should never be shy to be open about it. If there are certain kinks that you like, or if there are certain kinks that you have, or certain fantasies that you have, and you know it's weird, or you're skeptical about how people would accept it, you better talk to the person who is interested and let them know, especially if it's getting really serious and you know that this is heading towards the what do they call it? It's heading towards marriage. You better talk about it ASAP. ASAP. You better talk about it, because if you keep that fantasy hidden, or you keep that kink hidden, and you spring it up after you know that they've, especially for the man, you spring it up, especially when you know that you've settled in with them. They are now married, locked in with you. You settled in with them, only for you to one day tell them, you know what, this is what I really love. This is what gets me off. And this is what I want you to do for me to make me happy. You have deceitfully lured them into an institution that they know that they wouldn't want to come out from, especially if you're a partner who likes number two. And Certain people react to number two in a certain way. You don't tell your partner during courtship that I don't like this is I my preference is number two, because I know there are some women who also enjoy number two. I don't know how they do it. Because when I go to toilet, I know how painful that thing is. Go to toilet, I know how painful it is to bring down faces, not to talk of something protruding in. So if you're that kind of person who likes number two, you enjoy number two, and your partner is not the kind that likes it, it's going to be a big issue. It's going to be a big issue. And that person might start to wonder, why do you even like it? If you're not gay or if you're not weird. So understand each other and do not hide it. Do not hide it. If you have a weird kink, if you have a weird fantasy and you want to do it with someone, please find out during courtship, not during marriage. Don't let them love you so much that at the end of the day, you now see that their inhibition has, the walls they've built around themselves has come down. And then you now find a way to chip it in. Tell them from the onset, this is what I like in the bedroom. And if they like it, fine, good for you. If they don't like it, carry your two left leg and run away, or carry your two left leg and walk away with all dignity. All right? It's not something you should be ashamed of. Do you get what I mean? It's what you like. It's between you and God. It is what you like. So do not deceive people into making them comfortable by not telling them what your preferences are, or by pretending that you can accommodate their preferences just so that you can carry that title, Mr. or Mrs. You will suffer for it. They will suffer for it. There will be frustration. So if there is a particular thing that you like, say it out loud. That's all I'm trying to say. Because sexual compatibility is a big deal. Sexual incompatibility is a deal breaker for a lot of people. But I am not saying that there is no way that two people who are sexually incompatible cannot find a way to be compatible. You can. If the love is there, and if you're teachable, if your partner is teachable, you're willing to pleasure them in a way that they want to be pleasured. As long as you're happy doing what they want. And it's a mutual thing. It's not about satisfying your partner and you being left unsatisfied. It's got to be a mutual thing, such that you don't find yourself being debased, or you don't find yourself feeling a type of way like you've sinned, even in your marriage, like you've sinned. Because I have seen in a divorce case where a woman comes out and says that the husband likes to go down, and the husband wants her to go down on him, but she doesn't like it. She's never liked it because it makes her feel a certain way. But you guys courted. Except you're telling me that you guys never had any sexual relationship during your courtship, which is advisable sometimes. Which is advisable, but you have to use your sense sometimes. Which, if you're going through that route of, oh, I'm not going into premarital sex with my partner because of religion, then make sure that you talk about certain things. Make sure you talk. This is where you have to tell your partner that this is what I do not like. I cannot go down on a man. And if he feels like he can live without you going down on him, then fine, he should accept. And if you tell him you cannot reach your apex without him going down on you, and he says he cannot go down on you, but you know deep down that you can actually live without it, it doesn't matter, then you can go on. But if you know that you cannot do without those things, or one particular thing during intimacy, and he says he cannot do it for you, you better leave. Do you understand? So this is all I've come to say. Oh, if there is that one thing that you cannot do without in your relationship, please put it down in the comment section. Is sexual incompatibility a deal breaker, or can you walk through it with your partner? What if your partner says, no matter how you teach me, I am never going to do it? What would you do? Would you break that relationship? Would you move on? Or would you stick on? Let me know if sexual incompatibility is a big deal for you or not. All right? Okay, until I come your way next time, do know that I love you and God loves you best. Mwah.